Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Our next two weather makers. First, really warm temperatures for this afternoon, and then rain that could affect the evening commute. I'll walk you through the timeline.
Teen tobacco use. State leaders will work to curb vaping among teens. The new policies that would affect tobacco retailers.
And a decisive victory. UNC showed out against San Diego State, winning 95-68. Why this win is reigniting hope among the Carolina faithful. RJ Davis, 6 for 6 in the three-point range, and 40 points in the second half. This team is tournament ready. Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. Great to have you with us on this Wednesday. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. It is great to have you along here. Yeah, you were saying earlier, raining threes, right? 14 of them in the game, the most they've ever had in the NCAA tournament. Awesome stuff. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now, and no rain until tomorrow.
That's right. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, especially during the evening commute, it may be pretty wet out there. We're going to walk through that in just a little while. But in North Hills this morning, skies are clear. Temperatures are cool. It's 43 degrees. We're going to see our wind shifting to southerly and southwesterly today. That's really going to bump up our temperatures. Yesterday's high at RDU was 71, and we're looking at around 80 for this afternoon. But it's chilly in a lot of places. 36 in Roxborough and South Hill, 38 in Goldsboro, 40 in Southern Pines, as well as Rocky Mount and Wilson. A bit breezy this afternoon with gusts up to 17 miles per hour, pushing the warmth in, but also creating high fire danger in our western counties, where we did not see as much rain on Sunday as we did from the Triangle area eastward. Our rain chances for Thursday really bump up during the afternoon, especially between, say, 2 and 6 or 7 o'clock. It's going to be a pretty messy evening commute for us. And today, it'll be nice and bright with a high of 80 degrees for the last day of winter. We'll talk about how things are looking as we head into spring. Chris?
All right, Elizabeth, still following this crash on I-40 westbound Orange County near New Hope Church Road. That's right around exit 263. The latest that we've heard is that one lane is closed, but it doesn't seem to be having a major impact on traffic in terms of our delays. Let's check out some of those delay times if you plan on heading into the Bull City from Hillsboro. Nothing. In fact, really, I-40, Highway 50, 501, really no major delays heading into Durham this morning. We'll let you know if that changes if you're heading out on the road. Listen to us, 101.5 HD3, anywhere in the Triangle.
Chris, thank you. Today, lawmakers in Raleigh will consider new legislation about vaping. The goal is to make it harder for kids to get their hands on vapes. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live outside the legislative building this morning. And Kelsey, this bill would put new rules on stores that sell these products.
Yes, Renee, it would. And we first did a deep dive into vaping laws last year during our WRAL documentary, Gen V. Today, it's back in the forefront as state lawmakers will be here in the legislative building talking about plans for new legislation. This morning, legislators are presenting a new bill designed to help curb teen vaping. On average, 3 students vape in any given high school classroom in our state. That's according to the state health department. North Carolina lawmakers are working to change the legal age for tobacco products to 21. This would make the state law compliant to a federal law that's already on the books. Right now, the legal age to buy tobacco products in North Carolina is only 18. State lawmakers also want to implement a tobacco retail sales permit. That would be used to help keep track of who's selling vapes. Lawmakers will host a news conference today about this bill. That news conference is scheduled for this morning at 10:30. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Today, Governor Josh Stein will unveil his budget proposal for 2025 through 27. His full plan is unlikely to be approved by the GOP-led legislature, however. The proposal will give us an idea, though, of what Stein is looking for in his spending wish list and where some common ground might be found. Stein plans to hold a news conference at 10:30 this morning.
North Carolina lawmakers say they've reached a deal on $500 million in Helene relief aid. Disagreements over how to spend the money held up the bill for weeks. State House representatives approved a new version yesterday, reaching a deal with Senate leaders. Governor Josh Stein has said he intends to sign it.
Tar Heel basketball showed up, and they're moving on in the NCAA tournament. UNC made a big statement with that win last night in their opening game. It ended just before midnight. Maybe you missed some of this. WRAL's Laura Levine is at Lenovo Center this morning, and Laura, the fans got to be excited. A lot to be excited about after that dominating performance last night.
Definitely. Good morning, Jeff. And here at the Lenovo Center, the road to the Final Four will heat up this weekend. Meanwhile, one triangle team, UNC, proving overnight, well, that they do belong in this tournament. In last night's first four, the Tar Heels showed that they are here to compete. The team crushed San Diego State 95-68 in a battle of number 11 seeds in Dayton, Ohio. The Tar Heels led by as many as 40 in the second half. This comes as the Tar Heels' inclusion in the field set off a wave of criticism from college basketball analysts and commentators. We caught up with a fan last night who went to San Diego State but is still a diehard UNC fan.
I mean, this brings back some of the glory day moments that we're known for in March Madness, so hopefully all the magic takes over and Carolina can get back to what we know they can do and what they're showing San Diego State, and we can show the rest of the world that what happened early in the year was just working out some of the kinks. Tournament time's happening, and here we go.
And here we go. UNC advances to the first round to face number 6 seed Ole Miss in Milwaukee on Friday afternoon. Here at the Lenovo Center, it's going to host the first and second rounds on Friday and Sunday with Duke hitting the court on Friday. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Your child's experience at school may change next school year. The superintendent of Wake County Schools is suggesting cuts in certain areas to tackle financial challenges. The district is preparing to open 4 new schools while losing millions in federal dollars. Superintendent Robert Taylor is seeking $40.3 million more in local funds than what the district received last year. His budget proposal looks at cutting employee benefits and select teaching positions. Educators and parents shared their concerns during last night's board meeting.
I hope district leadership and the school board will at least ask for what we need, asking the commission to fund what's necessary to maintain staffing levels and fund necessary maintenance and operations costs.
You can share your feedback on the budget at a public hearing on April 8th. There will be 3 other public input sessions before final revisions in May. Go to WRAL.com for those locations and times.
This morning, crews will resume their search for a 7-year-old who disappeared in the Tar River. Sky 5 flew over that scene in Franklin County. The boy fell into the river Monday afternoon and did not resurface. The crews have been using boats and drones to try to find him. This morning, those crews plan to return to the scene with cadaver dogs.
New this morning, a man is dead after he was hit by an SUV while his truck was stuck on the side of a road in Sampson County. Highway Patrol says the crash happened on Dr. Kerr Road near Wildcat Road just after 9 last night. 81-year-old Oscar Chestnut of Harrells got stuck while attempting a 3-point turn. He got out of his truck and tried to flag down help. An SUV hit his truck and then hit him. Investigators say no impairment is suspected. We're working to learn whether any charges will be filed. A man has been charged in connection with a home break-in. The Harnett County Sheriff's Office has charged 26-year-old Frederick Berryman Jr. with several felonies relating to the incident. Investigators believe Berryman and an unknown woman robbed a homeowner at gunpoint. Deputies are working to identify the woman involved in the break-in.
Coming up on 10 after 6 right now on your Wednesday, holding gun owners responsible. That is the purpose of a new lawsuit filed by the family of an 8-year-old girl who was shot and killed by an 11-year-old. The adults, they believe, should face legal punishment for that girl's death.
And thousands of pages related to the investigation of President John F. Kennedy's assassination have been released. What some are saying the documents may or may not reveal.
And it's a chilly start this morning, but both lunch and dinner outside today look fantastic. Maybe not so much tomorrow as we have some rain in our forecast. I'll show you when coming up. 6:11 as we take a live look down Fayetteville Street from our Jimmy V camera. It's a nice quiet start this morning. Temperatures are chilly, but winds are calm, and we do have the top of the tower lit in blue for clear skies this morning. Taking a look at temperatures, it's chilly in some places. Up in Roxburgh, it's 36, and South Hill temperatures are in the mid-30s as well. It's 40 in Holly Springs, 42 in Garner, and 40 in Rocky Mount and Wilson. So it's definitely coat weather in my book, but it won't last long. We're going to see temperatures at 70 degrees by lunchtime and then 80 degrees this afternoon. It's going to be one of those days where the neighborhood is full of people, running, walking, getting out and enjoying. It's just going to be a really pretty day. Take advantage of it now. Tomorrow will be cooler and we'll see a significant chance for rain in the afternoon and evening. I'll show you coming up. Chris?
And Elizabeth, brand new this morning. This is the crash we've been following, I-40 near New Hope Church Road. Our photographer, Michael Joyner, was on scene. It's one vehicle crash, and thankfully the driver is okay. That's definitely fortunate in that situation. The only person on board was the driver. And again, the troopers on scene tell us that the person is okay. Not tracking any major delays with this is, again, I-40 West near New Hope Church Road. We'll check out other parts of the triangle in your full traffic report coming up.
Your time is 6:13 here in the WRAL Live Center. I'm monitoring something from overnight from President Donald Trump. He appears to be reacting, actually scolding the federal judge who blocked his deportation plans. In this Truth Social post just after midnight, the president said, quote, "If a president doesn't have the right to throw murderers and other criminals out of our country because a radical left lunatic judge wants to assume the role of president, then our country is in very big trouble and destined to fail." Now, this is all centered around the deportations of alleged Venezuelan gang members deemed violent by the president. Actually, you may recall that not long ago, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts rejected calls from the president to have federal judges impeached because there's a disagreement with their ruling. But how this could affect future deportations, we'll be watching that closely here on WRAL News.
Chris, thanks. Hundreds of people flooded the streets of New York City to protest Israel's latest strikes on Gaza. More than 400 Palestinians were killed in the strikes early yesterday morning. Hundreds of others were injured. That's according to the health ministry in Gaza. The strikes ended 2 months of relative calm. They were the strongest on Gaza since the ceasefire and hostage prisoner exchange agreement between Israel and Hamas took effect in January. The highest ranking Hamas security official in Gaza was reportedly among those killed in the strikes.
The family of this little 8-year-old girl, Genesis Dockery, has filed a new lawsuit. They want to see adults held responsible after she was shot to death by an 11-year-old boy. The family is suing for wrongful death and negligence. The lawsuit claims the 11-year-old's grandfather, Thomas Michael, failed to secure the gun that killed her and didn't report it missing from his safe. It also claims he and the boy's mother, who was babysitting the girl at the time, should have known the 11-year-old had a strong interest in guns.
Hopefully that verdict would move us closer to getting stricter gun law responsibility and accountability. And no, $100 million later, we still got to go to the graveyard to see our daughter. So that's right.
Thomas and Crystal Michael declined to comment.
More than 60 years after President John F. Kennedy was shot and killed, the federal government has released thousands of records related to his assassination. Questions and conspiracy theories still swirl. Michelle McConaughey is here now with what these documents may reveal. Michelle.
Renee, we're talking 80,000 pages related to the fatal shooting on November 22nd, 1963. So it may take some time before researchers can go through the newly posted documents. And some say there's no indication the files will contain any bombshells. The files, which were posted on the National Archives website, follows an executive order by President Trump signed on his 4th day in office. Many of the documents now released have been previously redacted within minutes of the release. Documents that had been hidden from the public for decades appeared on the site. It is not immediately clear, again, if the documents contain any evidence to counter the conclusion that gunman Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
An American believed to be the last to see a college student who disappeared while vacationing in the Dominican Republic is no longer under police supervision. A judge says he could only rule on if Joshua Reeby should be allowed to move freely in the country, and that his courtroom was not the appropriate venue to sort out the matter of Reeby's passport. Reeby's lawyers say his passport was confiscated. Reeby has not been accused of any crime, and police have said there is no suspect in Sudisha Kananke's disappearance. Her parents say authorities told them they believe she drowned.
This week, government leaders from around North Carolina are in Raleigh to talk about ways to reduce drug overdoses throughout the state. The NC Summit on reducing overdose is happening today and tomorrow at the Raleigh Convention Center. Today, a drug scientist with University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill will speak to attendees. Leaders will focus on prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery as ways to curb drug-related deaths in the state. It is 6:17, and although you'll need a jacket this morning, it will warm up quickly. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. 80 degrees possibly. This is definitely a spend some time outdoors today.
Absolutely. There were so many people out in my neighborhood yesterday, just walking, running, enjoying the pretty weather. And it'll be almost 10 degrees warmer today than it was yesterday. Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, all nice and clear this morning. Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. We may see some high, thin cloud cover developing as we get through the day today. As our next weather maker approaches us, it's going to bring us some rain tomorrow afternoon and evening, likely to be up to maybe a quarter of an inch. Isolated storms are not out of the question. We're not looking at any severe weather, and for a lot of us, this will just be rain, but we couldn't rule out an isolated storm. The pollen levels should drop a little bit, especially in areas that see some of the heavier rain. In some of the areas where may see lighter rain, we could see some dust in that rain as well. We'll explain that coming up. The other thing that we could see on the backside of this is snow, not for our viewing area, but in the mountains, there could be some accumulating snow as our next weather maker slides eastward. Here's a look at Futurecast, and this is tomorrow at 10 a.m. We may start with some clear skies, but by lunchtime, we're definitely cloudy tomorrow. A few isolated showers early afternoon, but by the time we get to 3 or 4 o'clock, that rain is pretty steady to moderate across our area, and a rumble of thunder, especially in our eastern counties, is possible. You can see it is wet for everybody during the evening commute, and then it starts to move out between, say, 8 and 9 o'clock. And then behind it, it will be cooler, and you can see the blue. There's the snow that may fall in the mountains. How about that chance of that dusty, dirty rain that we saw a week or so ago? It's possible that we could see some dust from back to the west around Oklahoma and Texas getting swept up in this front. But if the rain is heavy enough, which it may be, it may not be sort of that same situation that we saw where we had the light rain with the dust in it and it just made a mess of a lot of the cars. An average of a quarter of an inch, but we could see some areas seeing as much as a half an inch of rain out of the system. And in the mountains, it could be over an inch of accumulation. Not going to be a big storm for them, but almost all of the mountains could see some snow Thursday night into early Friday morning. How about the weekend? We're going to give it a green light on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, the NCAA women's tournament is in town. 68 degrees at 2 o'clock start for NC State and Carolina at 4:30 at about 65 degrees. Should have a really nice day if you're going to be out tailgating for any of those events. Saturday's high 71 and 67 on Sunday, and then our next chance of rain is not until next Monday. Chris?
Elizabeth, coming up on 6:20 this morning, newest picture from that crash on I-40 I-40 westbound near exit 263. One vehicle crashed. Thankfully, the driver is okay and was the only person that was on board. Elsewhere, as you get into Orange County, we have that crash near New Hope Church Road. Doesn't seem like it's causing any major delays, but right there, US 15 Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard, that's eastbound where we have new reports of a serious crash. We're going to look into that in a little more detail. Meanwhile, in and around the capital city, doesn't look like anything major. Had a report of a crash on I-40 east near Lake Wheeler. Doesn't seem to be causing any major delays. Anywhere in the Triangle, you can listen to us on the radio 101.5 HD3.
Oh, don't look now. Happy Gilmore is back. The Adam Sandler film is getting a sequel 30 years later. Ooh. We'll have a first look at the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2.
And a massive music festival, Lollapalooza, dropped their lineup for this summer's event. We'll share the big names headlining the festival ahead of what's trending.
Also ahead on today, budget airlines battle for customers. Why you could see flight prices hit pre-pandemic levels as you book your summer vacation.
And here's a look at your winning North Carolina education lottery numbers.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Happy Gilmore is hitting the links again. I'm excited.
You are. Well, it's the lineup for a massive summer music festival. Time for a look at what's trending. Okay, Adam Sandler making a return to the golf course for a Happy Gilmore 2. No surprise that Happy Gilmore was one of Jeff's favorite movies, golf. Netflix released the official trailer yesterday.
Arnold, Jacko, Tiger, SpongeBob?
all the golf greats. This comes almost 30 years after the original. The new movie comes out on July 25th.
Yeah, and on Netflix. We got 30 years later. So Ben Stiller is in it again. Julie Bowen, who was Happy's girlfriend from the first one. Christopher McDonald, who played Shooter McGavin, is
All
back
the
in. I wonder
originals.
if Chubb will be in it. I don't know, but I'll wait and see. It's going to be fun.
30 years later.
Right?
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
So the lineup for this year's Lollapalooza is out, and the headliners include Olivia Rodrigo, Tyler, the Creator, Sabrina Carpenter, Luke Combs, so many more. The tickets go on pre-sale tomorrow morning. Another biggie.
Yeah, sounds like something for everyone. It feels like Lollapalooza has been around forever, right? Well, it started in 1991. And remember, it was a farewell tour for Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now Grant Park in Chicago going to be happening July 31st to August 4th.
Back in the 1900s, as my kids like to say.
Yes,
Forever ago.
1990s. Check this out. The world's first international ice carousel came full circle in Maine over the weekend. The Northern Maine Ice Busters spent an entire day Saturday cutting through the ice of the St. John River to create this carousel. Sitting in between the U.S.-Canadian border, this is the first ice carousel to spin through 2 countries simultaneously. How amazing.
How cool is that? 2 American astronauts who spent more than 9 months in space are now safely back on Earth. And today they'll be in Houston for a full medical evaluation. Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore splashed down in the ocean off the coast of Florida right alongside 2 other astronauts. The SpaceX Dragon capsule made its touchdown just before 6 p.m. yesterday evening. It was a beautiful thing. Recovery teams inspected the capsule and escorted the crew out one by one.
And if you're headed out to take the kids to practice this afternoon, take your chair and sit outside. Temperatures will climb into the 80s, but it'll be different tomorrow. Cooler with a cold front and some rain coming through. I'll walk you through it.
Reducing teen vaping, the state legislature hopes to curb youth tobacco use. Ahead, the policies they'll consider to achieve this goal.
And the new chancellor, NC State's next chancellor, is addressing students as he takes leadership. What Kevin Howell hopes to accomplish in his new role.